Welcome, everyone, to Dad's Turn to Talk. My name is Bob. We're back with another episode, and we got a very special guest with us. She's returning to us. I'm not sure why, but apparently she had a good time, and she's back with us today. But before I introduce our guest, let me start with the man who needs a lot of therapy because he's been watching The Acolyte. Josh, how are you doing tonight?
Let me explain something to you, Bob. I met you in 1985, okay? First grade. We've been friends ever since. 20 years later, you and I went to see Revenge of the Sith together. We loved it. It was fantastic. After that ended, for many years, I would say, Bob, are they going to ever come out with a new Star Wars? No, Josh. No, it's not going to happen. George Lucas is done. No, maybe they'll, do what? No, Josh, it's done. It's done. In 2012, George Lucas sells it to Disney. And I'm about to say something, Derico, Lily's on here, that I don't say a lot. Bob, you were right. It should have been done. It should have been done. It should have been buried. We would have had just our originals. That's it. You were right. It will never be said again. If lightning strikes me tonight, you will never be right again. But for this, you are right. But
Derek, do me a favor. Write down the date and time here so we can have it marked down, and I can pull this out and say, Josh, you remember on the 17th at 9:43, you said that I was right.
I've already got it in PDF format. Josh will receive the DocuSign tomorrow for the signature.
Thank you, because I don't DocuSign enough in my job.
All right. Well, Josh, we're glad that you're on. And now I want to introduce the other man who needs a lot of therapy because we've been talking about The Acolyte. Eric, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. I got my drugs. I'm good to go. The doctor prescribed them to me.
Oh, yeah.
I got to tell you, Derek, you have been a trooper on this one, and it's much appreciated.
Why is Derek the trooper? Why am I not the trooper that you made me watch this show?
Because you were going to watch it anyway, John.
Exactly. No, really, Bob and Lily are the troopers because it's like they had to it's like they were assigned this, so they had no choice but to put up with this. You, on the other hand, Josh, had every opportunity to leave, and you did not.
I was forced to do this.
You were not.
Well, gentlemen, I am glad that you are with me tonight, and we're going to introduce our guest who is making money off of The Acolyte. So, Lily, welcome back to the show. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really good. I'm actually here as Queen Amidala tonight because it was between this or Princess Leia, but I went with Queen Amidala.
Hey,
but no, I'm doing better. I had some chance to sleep last night and recover a little bit from last night and all of the horrible things that we've had to go through for 7 weeks now.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh my God,
a long time, man.
It feels like at the end of Lord of the Rings, after the ring is in the fire and Frodo says it's done. Like, that's how I feel right now.
Oh God, yeah.
So it's over.
Jesus. Okay, so before we get into the topics tonight, I did want to go ahead and just let everybody know that we'd love it if you'd like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it, go ahead and comment, let us know what you think about the topics. Just to let everybody know that our topics are time-stamped, so if there's something specific that interests you and you don't want to go through the whole show, although we want you to watch the whole show, but if there's something specific that interests you, you can find that in the description below. And then I would be remiss if I didn't say something, just because it's been a rough week with current events and stuff. So I just want to point out, with everything that's gone on with the assassination attempt on President Trump, I want to point out that Josh, Derek, and we are on very different ends of the political spectrum. And yet the three of us are close friends. And we're able to talk and have discussion, no problem. And we wish that everybody else would do that and just cool things down. But President Trump, we are glad you are okay. For those that were injured, we're praying for you. And for the gentleman who lost his life, we're praying for his family. Also, we did lose several celebrities over the week. we're praying for their families. Shelley Duvall, Shannon Doherty, Richard Simmons all passed away over the week, so we are praying for your families as well. So everyone, we want to go ahead and get into the topics tonight, and we are going to start off with the topic that's Josh's favorite. And the reason we are going to start off with this particular topic is because, Josh, I'm pretty sure that you're going to need some therapy, and there's nothing better than to give you some therapy than to talk about The Acolyte.
My God, man, drilling holes in his head's not the answer.
So,
I mean, that kind of sounds like an option.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
Not the
it
worst
does.
idea.
So as people saw there, the season finale for The Acolyte finally happened, and as we all have mentioned, this thing is finally over.
Good
So-
one.
Gosh, yes,
So
finally.
thank God on this. So last night's finale, it sucked. Lily, I'm going to open this up to you. Why don't you go ahead and tell us why this thing sucked?
Oh my gosh, it would probably be shorter if I told you why it didn't suck.
We'll see Lily next week.
I know. I'm like, how long do you have for this stream?
Oh, you take the time you need. Good Lord.
Man, it was okay. So first of all, there was this really stupid cringe post that the Star Wars account posted that they were like, guys, look forward to the epic finale of the Acolyte. I
Yeah, I
mean,
saw that.
they were right, but it was an epic failure.
Epic's
There's
one way
nothing-
of putting it.
Epic about it. It's just bad. Like everything that they had destroyed with the other episodes, it kind of all happened at once in this one episode. Like there were weird lightsaber fights.
Not lightsaber fights, glowing stick fights.
Yeah,
that
glowing stick
I
fights.
Disney on ice.
Glowing stick fights, like the weirdest Sith I have ever seen. The appearance of a very beloved character, and they made him look like a big old creeper. Another beloved character who is now also a liar.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like there was nothing they didn't destroy here. They took another shot at Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader. I'll go into that later with Amanda Stenberg. I'm sorry, she cannot act, or whoever directed her. She has the same expression throughout the entire episode. It doesn't matter who they pan to. If she's playing Mayor Osha, it doesn't even matter. You can't tell the difference between them.
Well, they are supposed to be the same person, so. Oh.
I mean, they accomplished that because I can't tell them apart with the same face. Oh my gosh!
Oh wow!
And then even the one Jedi that I thought was supposed to be like that I could at least stand watching, they made him go out like such a punk. I'm sorry. Like, did he forget that he had powers too? Like, did he forget that he could use the Force? Like, I'm still trying to understand what happened. Like,
I know.
instead of answering questions, there's more questions.
Like, dear God, why?
Yes, like why is this happening to me? Why did I subject myself to this? Oh, so bad. So bad. Like, what else happened? Of course, no one takes accountability for anything. That apparently if you become a murderer, you can fall in love with another murderer.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's super cute. Oh my
Makes
gosh.
sense.
Couple goals. Hashtag Raylos.
Hashtag aspirations.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Like it just goes on and on and on.
And they want you to feel sorry for these characters. I mean, it's like, good Lord, no.
The
They're
thing is,
the bad guys.
I get it. They told us this is called the Acolyte. This is supposed to be about the dark side users. Okay, I get it. But they're painting them in a way that you're supposed to be sympathetic and care about them. That all of these terrible things that they did are justified because the Jedi are bad guys in this TV show. But like, no, no. I don't. that May gets to get away with everything because she just forgets everything that she did. No
Oh, yeah, that
accountability.
was convenient enough, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was just so weird. And the fact that like neither sister, both of them are evil because neither sister cared that the other one is out here murdering people. And they're just embracing and feeling bad. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but like I love my sister. But if she murdered somebody in front of me, I'd be like, whoa, okay, what?
There'd be issues at Thanksgiving for sure.
Yeah, that's like
But not only did they try to murder somebody in front of them, she was trying to murder her sister at one point.
yes, they're trying to murder each other. And then her murderous boyfriend like comes in and they like, what is
Jeez. You know, it sounds worse when we're saying it.
I know, yeah. I'm sitting here listening to you guys, and I'm like, dear God, how did anybody watch this?
Yes, it's so crazy. Like that's literally what happened. All of these people are murderers, and no one got anything of what they deserved. Like, nope. It was weird.
All right. All right, Derek. First off, did you actually watch it? I didn't think that you had the stomach to do it.
Of course not.
With how much you guys rave about it, how could I miss it? Are you kidding me? No. Yeah, okay, so Lily, I'll be frank with you here, and in case you haven't heard this, I bailed out by episode 4, I think. I was just like, no. I don't know. I time is precious, folks, and let's invest in it wisely. And so
It's true.
I decided to bounce and watch, other stuff that was more productive. Which, by the way, Bob, unfortunately, I haven't gotten as much into it. I've gotten into like 3 episodes of the season, but Shogun is fantastic.
I
Yes.
gotta watch that.
That is a good show. Josh, you still need to check that out. I've been telling
You
you.
gotta get dial
Did
into
you
that.
see Children, Lily?
I haven't. It's on my watch list, but it's because sometimes when I sit down to watch a TV show, I'm doing something else at the same time, and
Right.
because I have to read subtitles, I have to do it on a night where I'm not doing anything else. But I've heard that it's a really good show. Like my
It
sister was
is.
talking.
It's really good. You know, some people were comparing it to Game of Thrones. It's not like Game of Thrones.
No.
It's more like something else. There's a lot of political story and whatnot, but it is really good. That was one of the best shows I've seen this year.
The actor that came out in what was it? Mortal Kombat is in it, right? Like he's the lead, one of the lead actors.
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
Like he played Scorpion, right?
I
I
believe
think so. Yeah, I think he was the one who played Scorpion.
I love that. I like that new Mortal Kombat movie, by the way. I'm excited for
He's
this.
a great actor. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Was it-
he's
You know
really
what?
he's really good in the show too. Yeah,
I'm just
he's
really mad.
Here.
Yeah, I'm just really mad that they didn't get the Miz to be Johnny Cage. He would have.
Oh yeah.
But have they announced who's Johnny Cage will be in the?
Yes, it's gonna be Carl Urban, which I think is such a miscast.
What?
Oh, absolutely. It should have
Carl
been the Miz.
Urban for Johnny Cage.
Carl
Yes.
Urban? That makes no.
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm leaving. I'm done.
You're not going anywhere.
I'll talk to you guys
Sit
later.
down.
I just, Carl, hold on. Oh god. Okay, this
Oh,
podcast
wow.
is going to take a long time.
Was
All
this
right,
supposed-
so-
was it supposed to be the Miz?
Yeah, well, that was the fan casting.
Yeah,
Everybody
that was-
wanted to see the Miz play him.
He was even down for it. He had even said it too. He was like, "Hey, I'm waiting for the phone call. If you guys
I'm
call me,
available."
I'll do it." Yeah, basically, like he's
Oh,
real life
God.
Johnny Cage. He doesn't even have to pretend.
No.
You know what
I
they'll
mean,
do?
hey, after spending all your time with R-Truth, I'm sure he wants to turn around and end up in Mortal Kombat.
Instead of signing an autograph, they'll have them give them the person flowers or something. They'll ruin the whole character.
Yeah. Ugh.
I give up. I give
No,
up.
it should have been the
Sorry,
Miz.
Josh.
Anyway, back to your point, Bob. No, I did not watch this. I do not need to watch this. You have now validated the fact that I did not need to do so. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get to the next guy. Josh, what did you think about this?
I await the word of Vigo.
All right, all right, Josh, let's have it.
How do I count the ways? This is by far, first of all, Leslie Headland, I got her name right for once, does not know what a Jedi is. So, Derek, I know you didn't watch.
But
So-
you like the show, yeah?
So you have, it was May lying down on the table, and she's getting something out to try to like get out of this situation. The problem is Soul, the Jedi, should have sensed it. And instead, he let her take off. It hurt him and take off. How do you not understand? Like a real Jedi would sit there and sense it. And then they have that little beaver running around going, so ridiculous. They're going to make a show about the beaver next. I guarantee you. My God. And then, like Lily said, you had the little lightsaber fight, which included the Matrix. But it was the worst Matrix ever. The glow sticks, and they got them at Disney on Ice, and there was no force feeding.
Yeah.
There was
Oh my God.
nothing. It literally was the worst fight I have seen. And then the Jedi, when they get to that planet, what was it called? Broderick, Brentwood? I have no idea what it is. I don't
know. Generic planet.
What
It looked like it was a fan-made scene. Did you see that, Lily? They were just like walking
It looked
around.
It looked like it was like a back alley of like.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we're just going to do this. Are you kidding me? And then basically again saying that these girls were created by the Force. That completely takes away from Anakin Skywalker. I'm choking on this. This is how bad this show is. There was nothing good about it last night. And then you've got, what's her name, the Jedi, who I don't know if she could have eventually have been interesting. I think the whole show should have taken place on Coruscant.
Wait, hold on. You said a Jedi who could be interesting. Are you talking about Master Greenface or
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Master Nepotism or whatever her name is?
By the way, and she talks to the senator, and he goes, "Are you still getting nauseous?" Who says that on Star Wars? And then he hates all the Jedi. And then you have Darth Plagueis the Wise, Darth Plagueis, who I was like, is that Darth Plagueis? I wasn't sure. Yeah, the creeper. Oh, wait a minute. I think he's in my house right now. Oh, no, nothing. So much of a story arc there was with him. And then you had the end where she talks to Yoda. I mean, Master, we have something to talk about. And you know what Yoda said? Yoda said, the show sucks. Okay? That's what Yoda said. This was the worst show. Bob, I was not going to watch it. You made me watch this show. It was god awful. It was an insult to Star Wars. As Theory said last night, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. I miss Rian Johnson. That's how bad this is. This is without a doubt the worst show. To quote somebody I know very well, was it good? No. Horrible.
Oh God.
I mean, I started watching Rogue One today because it was on TV and I thought this is so nice. You have the guy, the director of Rogue One, who says, I am not a Star Wars fan. Guess what? He does stuff. He has Easter eggs for Star Wars. That makes sense. He did it in Rogue One. He did it in Andor. And guess what? He said in Andor season 2, I'm bringing back different people because they are part of the story. Good. If it was Leslie Headland, she'd bring some chick who she's never heard of to come in and, I don't know. I'm so aggravated about this. This is
really?
ridiculous. I'm not done yet. I'm not done. And then let's talk about this. The Kyber crystals.
I was ready for you to get to that.
Red and blue, you bleed a Kyber crystal. That's what it is. When Darth Vader became Darth Vader, he had to go to some distant planet and bleed his lightsaber. Again, let me write. Call Bobby and I, Disney, and Lily, who knows Star Wars. Call us. We will write you a script
I don't want to write for these people.
Unreal. It's dead. I should have listened to Bob when he was like, Josh, it's done. It's done. No more Star Wars. I mean, this is what's next? Skeleton Crew? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Oh
get
my
into the
gosh.
future of Star Wars here in a second because I
think
didn't
my
want to talk about where Star Wars goes from here.
I think my blood pressure's up. Oh, my. Oh,
Oh, good Lord. So you mentioned, Josh, you mentioned that stupid beaver or gopher or whatever the heck he is, sniffling around, So I want to ask a question. In this last episode, but in the one before, in episode 6, he alerts Soul to that it's May. He turns around and prevents, or he attacks May, it is going after her leg and whatnot. So he's after May. And then in this episode, he turns around and helps her escape. I mean, he turns around and helps her escape. He shuts the ship down so she can get away. And why did he help her do it?
Huh? I don't know that.
There's never a reason why they say that he helped her. It makes absolutely
horrible
no sense.
writing.
But then at the end, he's helping the Jedi track her again.
Oh, my God.
I mean,
So bad.
everybody's motivations in this show just change on a dime. It doesn't matter if it was May or Osha or the Beaver or
Beaver.
or Smilo Ren or Master Greenface or Soul or any of them. They're all changing their motivations literally on a dime.
Soul was the worst Jedi ever.
Oh God! And he started out fine, and then they turned him into a complete. Oh gosh! I mean, like you said, he went out in a real bad way. I really
can't fight back.
The actor.
You can't fight back when you're choked out.
That's what I thought too. I mean, like you
And not only
forget you have the Force. I don't. That's what I didn't understand. Did he like give in because he pulled another Master Tommen that he was like, I deserve this? So like he let her, or
I think that's what he was
Probably.
implied.
Yes.
I don't see any other explanation.
but that's not the Jedi way. Oh my God.
He was
None
no
of these
Jedi.
There was a lot
acted-
about this that wasn't the Jedi way.
He was no Jedi.
Yeah, none of these characters acted in the Jedi way.
They're no Jedis. They're no Jedis.
It was absolutely ridiculous. This show,
So
from start to
ridiculous.
finish, it was bad. I know, there are people out there defending this thing, and they are going out on absolute, limbs, and they're making leaps that Evil Knievel couldn't have made. But
They're willing to
the
die
audience
on that
score?
hill too. They're willing to die right on
yeah,
that.
Do we know the audience score of this?
last I saw it was at 15%, so it went up a percentage.
That's not good.
Oh,
I thought it would go down.
who did that?
Yeah, I'm sure the Acolyte fans, all 2 of them, showed up and gave it a 5.
Oh my God. I just saw a topic here. How the Acolytes Manny Jacinto brought sexy back to Star Wars. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, that reminds me? Did you see he was? There was an article that came out today in Variety, I think,
Yeah.
where the actor who played Smilo Ren was complaining because he was in Top Gun Maverick and he was complaining that all of his lines were cut. And he's like, "Well, I did see that that they were focusing on other actors, and us actors of color, we have to make sure that we create our own opportunities." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? There's a reason why Top Gun Maverick didn't focus on you, because we didn't want to see you. We wanted to see Maverick."
Was the name of the movie not Maverick? Top Gun, not Maverick.
I just these people. I'm so done.
I'm just like, wow.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, this thing was horrible. I mean, it was bad. So
I really hate that excuse. Like it just maybe you're not that great in that role. That's why they didn't have you in there. Like I just, oh my gosh.
You can't protect yourself with that kind of a layer when it comes to bad writing. Now, at some point, you need to take accountability.
yeah, God. And that's what they consistently do with this show is if you don't like it, well, it's all the ists and phobes that are out to get you instead of well, we just made a crap show. I mean, that's the reality of it. It was a crap show.
You know what, Lily? Derek said something last week that, here's another thing I probably would never say again, was brilliant. He said they love taking B characters and forcing them into being A characters.
Yeah. No, yeah, they really do.
And that's what they do. They take these characters we don't care about.
The problem, though, Josh, is that they do that without any development of these B characters. If they actually developed them, they could turn them into some A characters. It would take some time, but they can do it. But these people aren't talented enough to do that.
No,
so
absolutely no.
So that leads into the next topic, because we all agree that this thing is trash. And so,
terrible.
Where does Star Wars go from here? I mean,
hold on, let me go to the toilet. Hold on. Let me take the camera over to the toilet.
So is Star Wars dead? Can it be saved? Where does it go from here? Because looking on the horizon as to what they've got coming out, I don't see anything that leads me to believe that this thing can be saved. You've got, what is it? You got Skeleton Crew that's coming out that sounds so exciting.
What is it about? Hold on, start with Skeletons. What is it about?
Oh, I'll have to pull up the synopsis.
Nobody cares. Move on.
Hold on. Obviously, Josh cares.
I do.
Okay.
I don't even know what it's about either. I just saw the flaws in
Skeleton
it. Right?
Crew is an upcoming American science fiction television series. Hold on. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. It tells the coming of age story about 4 children who make a discovery on their home planet, and they get lost in the galaxy and they go on an adventure.
Oh my god, I don't care.
Yep, there it is. See?
I mean, it sounds so exciting, doesn't it?
Okay, next.
So then you've got Ahsoka season 2 that we know is coming out.
Yeah.
And that wasn't exactly a huge hit, Ahsoka. Then you've got the Mandalorian movie. I could see there being some excitement about that. But then after that, you've got the Rey movie. And even the Mandalorian movie, after season 3, you probably killed some of the excitement.
Oh yeah. As soon as they announced that Bo-Katan's going to be part of it, a lot of people aren't going to go watch it because we're already burned with season 3 of The Mandalorian.
See,
They're
I
going to replace her. Like, I wouldn't doubt that they traumatize an entire generation of children by killing Mando in that movie and replacing him with her. Like, I don't put it past them.
See, I like Bo-Katan, but I watched Clone Wars. I thought she was great, so I understood that part. I just didn't like season 3.
No, I used to like her, and they ruined her character for me because she had already gotten her opportunity to reunite the Mandalorians. How many times? And she lost the Darksaber. How many times? I'm sorry, that's not a competent leader. We need to move on.
I'm ready for Andor season 2. It will not save Star Wars. I just will hope that it'll be something cool.
Yeah, but you don't know if that's gonna be any better now at this point either.
No, I think it will be. I'm actually going on because of the director, because everybody loved season 1, including me and Bobby.
Everybody loved season 1 of The Mandalorian and lots of season 2. Season 3 was where it sounded like it fell off a cliff, though, right?
Yeah, it did.
It did, but we don't know it was a mess at Lucasfilm for season 3. It was a huge mess from what I understand. And yeah, I don't know. Is it dead? I wish it wasn't, but I think Disney has a lot to blame. I think Disney has, they want to do their own product and they don't care about the fans. They don't care.
What say you, Lily? You think this thing's dead?
I think so. I think it just needs to be over. People, I mean, I know that a lot of people aren't going to stop watching this stuff because obviously a lot of content creators, I mean, basically it's just the content creators watching a lot of this stuff now. Everybody's trying to get their bag on all of these TV shows. And hey, I've joined in because thank you, The Acolyte, for monetizing me on Twitter. I'm making money off of it. So people are going to keep reviewing all these terrible things. But I think what the general public needs to do is just stop watching this stuff. Like if you're kind of a Star Wars fan, kind of not really super a Star Wars fan, like just don't even watch this stuff, so that they can completely see that their numbers are dropping, that people are not watching this stuff anymore. And I'm not saying do it, but there's alternative ways that you can watch these TV shows as well, so that they don't get the viewer counts, because they need to start seeing this. I'm pretty sure they know. They just don't care. It's just that they need to have a big drop off, just like The Acolyte. I think there was a chart that actually came out in an article comparing the watch time between all of the newer TV shows, season 3 of Mando, The Acolyte, and/or the Book of Boba Fett. All of those TV shows, even though a lot of Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, even though a lot of people say that those TV shows haven't been the greatest, they were kind of terrible. Guess what? They were all kind of in the same kind of league with each other. When you see the little bar for The Acolyte, it's way low. Like it's comedically low. Like no one's watching this. No one's watching this TV show. Like I don't even think that all of these bots and shill people on Twitter are watching this TV show. They're just going against whatever we're saying about it, because it sounds like they're not watching it. Every single time somebody comes into my replies and tells me, "Oh, you probably have never even seen a Star Wars movie," and it's like, no, dude, oh my gosh! I'm like,
When you mention that,
seen a Star Wars movie because this isn't Star Wars.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
You're not wrong. I agree with you. I don't think half of them actually do watch.
no, like I really don't want it to be dead. This is like my favoriteest thing in the whole wide world. There's other things that I love almost as much too. I would say Lord of the Rings and like everything Tolkien and Star Wars are my top things. So I am gonna gatekeep them as much as I can now, because it sucks. I don't want it to be dead. I want good Star Wars, but at the same time, nothing's going to happen until they completely finish killing this off.
Let me say this. There's 2 things that I think could happen to save it. And I've told Bobby one of these. He doesn't necessarily agree with me, but he's kind of mixed on this. A live action Clone Wars movie. I think that would get original fans back in there, with Hayden, with Ewan McGregor, with, Ahsoka, with Rosario Dawson, just the whole thing, base it on the story from Filoni. And then maybe doing we missed out in The Last Jedi. We thought Luke, and I even said there were 2 things, Lily and Derek, that I said would have been cool, could have saved the movie. Was Luke Skywalker not dying at the end, and that whole darn projection. If he had come in and was not projected, and you had all of those ships there, and they start attacking him, and there's all this smoke up in the air, and all of a sudden the smoke clears, and all the lasers are just there in air, like he's holding every laser with the Force, and then brings his arms down, and all the lasers go and kill all the, First Order ships. That would have been great. People would have forgiven Leia Poppins. They would have forgiven Luke throwing the lightsaber. So maybe we need a movie with Luke Skywalker now and see him with all his power. Maybe that would, I'm just brainstorming here. Derek saying no, say whatever you want, or it's dead and they never make another Star Wars movie again, which I don't think that's going to happen. Or Elon Musk buys it from them, because he keeps talking about how bad it is. I don't know. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, Derek, you were shaking your head. Why are you shaking your head here?
Well, okay. If you want to know how to save this, I'll give you the formula for doing it. But Josh, one movie isn't going to wipe out a bunch of garbage once. You got to think way bigger than that.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so Derek's in charge now. All right, I'm taking Star Wars over. This is just me, right? Okay, I've got somebody working on a communication tomorrow. It's going to be out at 9 a.m., July 18th in the morning. Get your coffee. Where production is cut. Nothing more. We're not proceeding forward with anything else right now. We're like halt it all. We're not doing anything. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to take a little bit of time to figure our situation out here. But I can tell you it will not be short. You're going to need to wait a while. And by a while, I'm setting expectations now. 2 to 3 years. You're going to need to wait because we have to rethink a bunch of stuff here. And then you can even get political after that in my message. I know that there's a lot of people who like, certain themes about Star Wars, but this is about appealing to a mass audience with the right story. So we're not trying to take anything away from the themes, but we need to get bigger and try to appeal to the right things. Because we're done breaking Lily's heart. That doesn't have to be in my communication. So then after that, you take 6 months. Okay, so that gets us into January. You rethink everything and you set up a new vision and a new strategy. All right, however that's going to look. Bob's already talked about this on one aspect where you already had the playbook like Cobra Kai, right? So you start off, maybe you do a movie with the original characters, you create new ones. The second one would, in theory, then have a little bit of both mixed in. Third one, you're off to the races with the new ones. The originals just tag along for the ride and are the icing on the cake. And you can keep going with that because don't you have an entire bookshelf or multiple of books you can work from?
Mm-hmm.
So it's right in front of you. That's the beauty of this. You have what you need.
You would have to CGI Leia, though.
Well, okay, that's a detail. That we're talking grand scheme right now. Okay.
No, I agree with you.
You probably have to. Honestly, you probably have to kill off Leia and Han because I don't see.
Yeah, I don't see Harrison Ford
coming back unless you're recasting, which is the only other way you can do it.
Well, yeah, which is part of the strategy that I'm talking about here, right? You need to make those decisions. By the time that 6 months ends, so where does that put us? January?
Yeah.
Okay. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, welcome 2025. Okay, so by that time, this is when you actually get the writers who are going to work on this. You try to get as much of them as you can into one meeting to talk about what your strategy and vision are, even if they're only on, one project, whatever it may be. So then you set expectations, and that's your next 6 months. Is just the writing, You get your writing down, you get your budgets down, because we're not going to be cheap with our writers this time. We're going to actually pay good people to do a good job. Now, we can't break the bank with that, I understand. But you focus around your writing. That has to be the first part of this. You also get your budgets established for what production is going to look like. You have your plan to move forward, in which your next 3 years are when you hit go. Then you have until, let's say, the end of 2027. And that is when you re-click everything. So everything in my announcement tomorrow morning is going to hit by holiday season 2027. This is where this conversation is going to get into Marvel here in a minute, but it's going to be the same theory. One holiday movie, one summer movie, one streaming show. That's it. No more. No oversaturation. Everything we do is going to count. And with that writing, hopefully it does. And then you get people excited for what's coming up. And you can explain what the timeline is going to look like, once you have that formulated. But no oversaturation, get people excited for where you go. That is a massive, massive undertaking. It is a total rehaul. You're going to have to restaff. You're going to have to reorganize. But that is the only way you solve this problem, is by, in essence, starting from the ground up and creating a new foundation.
I've been begging Bobby to give me something, and he can't.
I'm not running for president, Josh. You didn't have to.
Thank you. Finally. See, Bobby? There you go.
That is beautiful.
What do you mean, there you go.
Thank you.
Don't give me that look, Bob. There you go.
What do you mean, there you go?
That is beautiful, Derek, but I'm going to have to rain on everybody's parade.
Well,
to do that, you would have to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy, which it doesn't look like she's leaving anytime soon.
Oh, no, exactly. No,
fire everyone that
Yeah, I agree.
hired, including Dave Filoni, especially
Bye-bye.
Dave
That's
Filoni.
what I'm saying. Yeah, restructure. Restructure means reorganization. That means we're clearing house.
Because look at what happened. Seasons 1 and 2 are clearly all Jon Favreau, and look at how successful those seasons were and how much the fans actually loved it.
Yeah. And now the beauty of this is that, and this is why those books are so important, because right now you've got boatloads of material. That's
Yeah.
where you can, really make this count. You just have to figure out how you want to proceed forward with it and what direction you want to take. And if you sit down and really think about that, especially with good writers, it'll show up. It will happen.
Hey, Lily,
Yeah.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I'm curious about this, what your opinion is on this. Because one of the things you mentioned is firing Kathleen Kennedy, right?
Hmm.
So, one of the things, I don't know, they keep her on. I don't know why. I thought she was fired after Indiana Jones. It didn't happen. You're a female, she's a female. Do you think they keep her on because they're like, we need a strong female person? Or is she not a strong female person? And what do you think it is? Why is she still there?
I think this was discussed actually on one of the episodes on our stream. One
Yeah.
of our frequent guests, she actually brought this up, that she thinks that she's actually not even in charge anymore. That they just kind of keep her there to be like the figurehead of Lucasfilm.
I
But
heard
that-
Filoni's in charge.
Yeah, but that actually all of these decisions are coming from someone else. They just keep her on as kind of like, oh yeah, for all of us to complain about Kathleen Kennedy, and she's willing to just take all of it because of
She's
the
taking the bullets. Ooh.
yeah, for like for
Okay.
this like huge paycheck that they're giving her. And because she could care less about Star Wars. She could care less about any of these
Right.
things. And someone who doesn't care about something, they're not going to care that all the fans are upset at them.
Okay.
And that someone else is actually making all of these decisions for her. And all these interviews that she gives, saying things about the fans and all of these issues with Star Wars or whatever, that this isn't actually coming from her.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, I don't know, I don't think so. But now the more that I think about it, the more that I think she has a point. Because like, what is this lady still doing there? Like, if people were constantly telling me that I was horrible and terrible at my job and that I needed to leave, and like there would be a point where I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna
I'm out of
collect
here.
my final paycheck and I'm gonna go live my life. Like, this isn't worth being told all of these things all the time.
But can I
I'm-
just say one more thing? I
Go ahead,
because you guys asked, is it dead? Or Bob did. But it's not dead, but it's in the hospital and the news ain't good. In essence, what's probably going to happen in reality here, which is crappy because I just gave like the utopian situation where we have rainbows, unicorns, and all the zero soda you can drink, folks. But really what's probably going to happen is from now till about 3 years later when they should be restructuring, that's when you're going to see this thing really swirl down the John. And it's not going to get any better. It will only get worse. And the reason I say 3 years is because finally this is going to get to the boardroom. When this gets to the boardroom and the chairman and the board are there and they've heard about how much money this has lost, how
Right.
much bad publicity they've taken from this, what do you think they're going to say? They like quick decisions in the boardroom. This is done. And we're not doing anything else. And they're not going to say when they're going to do anything. They're just going to say it's done indefinitely. And instead of this being 2 to 3 where you can make real goals, it's going to be 5 to 10 and you ain't going to see nothing.
Lily, you brought up the whole point whether Kathleen Kennedy was really in charge or not. It's a very interesting thought, and there's a lot of good points around that. I remember that particular episode where y'all were talking about that, and I remember thinking, that's a pretty interesting point. For me personally, I think she probably still is in charge, but I think at this point, I don't think they care. I think they're spoon feeding us exactly what they want us to get.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just kind of what I think. And as far as Kathleen Kennedy goes, the reason I don't think she loses her job, Josh, is because regardless of whether we liked the sequel trilogy or not, it did make money. And yes, it had diminishing returns, but it still made money. And at the end of the day, Kathleen Kennedy has been in this business for a long, long time. I mean, she was a producer back on a lot of Spielberg's and Lucas's films early on. And
Right.
So I think she holds a lot of power. Now, I don't understand how she still holds that power, but I think they're afraid to fire her because I think they see it as a PR issue because she could come out. Well, maybe not her, but defenders of her will come out and be like, "Oh gosh, they fired her. Look how successful she was." Now, all of us know that no, it hasn't been successful. Not lately. It's diminishing returns after diminishing returns after diminishing returns. But I just personally think they're afraid of the PR nightmare, and that's why they don't fire her.
Which is why it's going to take. That's exactly why it's going to take 2 to 3 years. Because
Yeah,
it's
you
going
know,
to get to a point where you can't hide behind anything like that anymore.
Well, why is
I'm
it
with
a
you.
PR nightmare when we all can't stand her? Like,
Well,
don't
that's just it. It's a PR nightmare because remember that a lot of what's going on in Hollywood and stuff like that, you've got it's all about the public image and the look of where of the way things or way people perceive them. Like she could easily swing that, or supporters of hers could easily swing that she's a successful businesswoman, and they turn around and fired a successful businesswoman. Now, I don't think that it's going to happen. I think she's there until she retires, or if they finally do force her to leave, she's going to retire and she'll be able to walk away with her dignity. I mean, heck, didn't they give her an Oscar recently?
Did they? Oh my god!
For like a lifetime achievement award or something like that. Do you remember that, Josh? Where they give her an award?
I thought you told me that, and I'm not sure. Oh, we have a special guest, real quick. Everybody, say hi to my daughter.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you, Charlie?
There's Uncle Bobby and Uncle Derico. And Brooke's there. All right.
Hi.
It's our family show. Dad starts to talk. So. Have a good night. Mwah. Love you.
Oh, Josh.
Now, does she know how bad Star Wars is? Because we should probably call her in and warn her.
I know. I've been wanting her to watch the original one. I cannot get her to really. She's not. I wouldn't say she's not ready yet because her friends will watch. She's just not interested yet.
Now, hopefully,
And then I wanted
There'll
to
be a
take her-
time and a place.
Is she
I thought about-
like the super girly girl?
Yes.
She likes princesses?
Yes.
Then you need to start talking to her about how cool Princess Leia is because she's a princess.
Oh yeah. No,
That's fair. That's
she had a
fair
little
point.
poster in her room, a Princess Leia, a cartoon one. And we have books. I've read part of the books. We have these like 5-minute books. And she knows who Rey is, which I'm like, oh gosh.
Oh my gosh. And
Uh,
Padme, because Padme's
but anyway, yes, Kathleen Kennedy got some sort of Oscar. This is the deal.
what?
Yeah, she apparently got some sort of an award. It's funny, every time Star Wars comes on, I have the little excitement, even though I'm like, it's like Bobby says, Josh, you always have more hope than anyone that maybe it'll be. What I don't understand, guys, is that like I watched The Bad Batch, both seasons, very good. Like it was good. It's like there's certain things they do. And then, like, for example, I don't know if you guys watch Star Wars Rebels. Star Wars Rebels I liked, but then they go into Ahsoka and they have those same characters, and all of a sudden Sabine Wren, who was a Mandalorian, they're like, oh, she's training to be a Jedi. And and they focus on her instead of focusing on Ahsoka. And I'm asking myself, what is it? Is it Kathleen Kennedy going to these directors and saying, yeah, we need another woman in there who is powerful, who, even though we have Ahsoka, but it's like they forced, same with Reva. They took away from the character study of Obi-Wan and Vader, and it was about Reva.
This is
Okay,
exactly
Josh,
what
so-
I'm saying. Go
All
ahead.
right, Josh. So here's what it was. It was it's called the Thalberg Award. It's an honorary Oscar, basically. It's given to honor extraordinary distinction and lifetime achievement, exceptional contributions to the state of motion pictures, arts, and sciences.
What was it called?
It's called the Thalberg Award.
The Fartberg Award? Okay.
I mean, she's already won a lot of awards. Can she stop? Just go away already. Like, I'm tired of her. I'm so
Lily,
Talk
tired.
about failing upwards.
Yeah.
Lily, would you get rid of the sequel trilogy?
I would in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think
Same here.
I wouldn't even think about it.
Would
Yeah,
you? Because I told you guys multiple times tonight. I watched Rogue One, and I actually turned it on at the scene where you first see Peter Cushing, Grand Moff Tarkin, and he turns around, and I don't see him as a CGI character. Like, he seemed totally fine with me. Why can't you have a CGI Harrison Ford if you needed to, and Leia right after the event, and Luke even right after the events of Return of the Jedi?
I think the problem is, Josh, is that was only for 3 or 4 scenes for just a couple of minutes, where you're talking about doing an entire movie with these characters.
Changed. That was 2016.
I mean, I think the way to go would be, I agree with Derek. You got to fire everybody. I agree with Lily. You got to fire Kathleen Kennedy. You got to fire all the creatives. Right. You got to wait a little while. You got to start from scratch. And I would do one of 2 things. I would either start like 50 years in the future with an older Luke Skywalker, because we all know Mark Hamill would come back and do this again and play the an older Luke Skywalker who's already established a Jedi temple, and he is the Yoda type figure here, but we would actually see him doing the Luke Skywalker things that we want to see him do.
Right.
Also, or what I would do is I would recast, and I would do an adaptation maybe of the Thrawn trilogy. But do it correctly, not the way they've been talking about Dave Filoni getting his movie of it. I'd actually do it properly, and I'd just recast the characters. Those would be my options. But the key there is you got to get rid of everybody, because if you don't get rid of everybody, then you're allowing the rot to stay. Lily, you know this. Josh, you know this, obviously, because we all have experience in the medical field. But when you cut out a cancer, you don't leave part of it there. You turn around and you get rid of it all. Because if you don't, it's just going to grow back. And that's the problem with Lucasfilm. You got to get rid of it all. So that's kind of where I stand.
Exactly.
All right.
Hold on real quick. Lily, what would you do?
So, Josh, we're done. Enough.
You just ruined it.
What were you going to ask, Josh?
I'm curious what Lily would do. Would you redo the sequel trilogy? Would you focus on, like, what Bobby said many years later? Would you focus on the Empire, the years of the Empire between episodes 3 and 4? What would you do?
I think if I had control of Star Wars, first of all, I would decanonize the sequel trilogy, recanonize Legends,
Okay.
and then bring all of George's scripts for a sequel trilogy, start working on those, like Derek said, but take your time, flesh it all out. I don't think George Lucas would be opposed to, he doesn't want to get involved with a lot of things, but I don't think he would be opposed to at least come in every once in a while if they needed advice on how to go about things. I think I would put Jon Favreau back in charge of a lot more things. And I think that I would like to focus and go back to the prequels to the Darth Tenebris, Darth Plagueis, and tell a trilogy about Darth Sidious, about Palpatine, and start it with Darth Tenebris, and then going into Plagueis, and then ending with Palpatine finally rising into power, and then it'll go into the prequel trilogy. Like, I would love to see that. Love to see that.
That could be pretty cool.
That's cool too. That's different. Didn't think about that.
All right.
That would be the real Acolyte.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. Focus on your dark side users, which is, what they tried to do with this, but failed miserably.
Right.
God, yeah.
And, you get to see all the terrible things that the Sith do, and you get to see why they get to overthrow the Jedi eventually, and why all of this happened, and why Palpatine came into so much power. Like, he's an interesting character. He's a cool character. It's just they want to make all these weird characters no one cares about and fail miserably.
It would be a psychology piece, is what you're saying, because the Sith would be very different because the Jedi would not know they were existing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Maybe
because it was really, it's really crazy. Like, I really love that book, and I've heard a lot of people really enjoy that book too. And I would love to see it turned into a trilogy. Like, just the way that it goes into Darth Plagueis and like everything that he set in motion that Palpatine eventually inherits and everything that he does. You're like, wow, these people are like very. It's admirable that they're very committed, but at the same time, it's very scary because they are evil. And I would love to see that. So yeah, it would be very, very deep, very psychological. You get to see a whole different side of these people.
Which is what makes great science fiction too. When every time you can tie it back to psychology and sociology, it's a win.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Ah.
Nice.
All right.
Very
Anything
cool.
else about the activist? I mean the acolyte?
The succolite? The succolite?
The activist.
Join us next week, everybody, where we talk about Star Wars once again. Right, Bob? About
Exactly. This is never happening on our agenda. Here.
Bob, sometimes I hate you. You know, you're just, you know,
You gotta forgive us, Lily. We love going at each other over here.
Yeah.
Bob, really
Uh,
no sense of humor.
no,
I love it.
no, you know what? I get it, Josh. I get why you're so frustrated because I'm frustrated. I know Lily's frustrated. It's something that we love, and I mean, they've absolutely trashed it. I know, you know, Jarek, you're not into it as much as what we are, but you have fond childhood memories of it, and
it's not fair to you guys because they took something that you still continue to love and they threw it into a pit of tar and feathered it. It's just it's not cool.
Yeah. All right. So that's pretty much all we got about that. So we're going to talk about something else that we love. So, we're going to move on to the MCU. Specifically,
Oh God.
No.
Oh God, more complaining. I better leave.
I know.
you know what?
Actually, it's not that bad. It's not bad.
Okay. So for our fans, got to say that eventually we will get to stuff that we like. Next week we get to talk Cobra Kai, so that should be fun. And then football's coming up, so we'll get to some good stuff. But we got to get through all this bad stuff first.
No, this wasn't bad though. This was.
I got some feelings on it, but
There's a couple things.
so let me see if I can go ahead and pull up the trailer. So last week we talked about Derek's favorite trailer, Agatha, and
I was about to say Gladiator. That was my favorite
I
trailer.
have not seen the Gladiator trailer.
You haven't
no,
seen it?
No.
Oh my god!
it's another rough one.
Yeah, there's some thoughts about that already. Quite a few.
You need to do that live because I need to see Josh react to that one too.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's rough, Josh, because watching the trailer, there's some stuff in it that you're looking at it, you're like, okay, this could be kind of cool. The problem is they got all this rap music going on around, which turns around and takes you out of the setting.
Gladiator.
And then and then to top it off, it's a movie that nobody asked for. So I mean, Gladiator, the way that it ended, it was tied up in a nice bow. It should not have even had a sequel.
Yeah, why do you need a remake of this?
And then Denzel, one of the greatest actors of all time, sounds like he's still in training day.
Gosh, it's a rough one, and it was very disappointing. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Can you guys go ahead and see this? All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and watch this trailer, and then we will talk about it.
Wilson. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you for the invite, sir. I have to admit, I'm still getting used to the new look.
They said lose the mustache or lose the election. You and I haven't always agreed in the past, but I want to make another run at making Captain America an official military position.
And if we disagree on how to manage this situation, then what happens?
Work with me, Sam. We'll show the world a better way forward.
Sir, your inner circle's been compromised. Either you can't see that, or you don't want to. What if it's a trap?
Global power is shifting. You're just a pawn.
You may be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers.
You're right. I'm not.
All right. So,
Haven't seen that part. Yeah.
okay, Derek, I just love the face you're making here. What are you thinking here?
Well, okay, first of all, Harrison Ford is becoming awfully crabby in his old age. He seems grumpy all the time. And for a guy who played a fun Indiana Jones, he just seems just upset now. All right, fine. More questions than answers with all this. Do we know who the villain is? Is that been made official?
I'm hearing it's supposed to be the leader.
Okay, all right.
I don't know if that's
not
still
a
the
Captain
case or
America
not.
villain, so right off the bat we're hitting and missing. Okay, so then, I mean, is the point of this supposed to be that he's trying to protect people, but he can't do it the way they want them to protect him? I'm lost. I don't totally get it. Do we even know what the premise is of this? I don't know.
I don't know. They've refilmed this thing so many times.
Well,
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't-
maybe they were just happy to get a trailer out at this point.
I don't know. I mean, it
Yeah.
looks interesting. I thought it looks. I have one thing that's driving me crazy.
What's that?
Lily, I'm a very big Hulk fan. Okay,
Would
you
you
guys
shut
know.
up about this? Jesus Christ!
What are you going to say? What am I going to say?
Why
Go
we
ahead,
wasting
say
time
it.
talking
Let's hear about the Hulk.
Okay, fine, go ahead.
The fact that Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross does not have a mustache.
But they explained it to you in the trailer.
I know.
Yeah.
Come on, every day. And then you have like, the leader in there. You're not Betty Ross. You have Thunderbolt. You have no Hulk. Really? But other than that, it looks interesting.
Do you want Smart Hulk back? Because that's the way he was left off.
Oh my
No, I
god.
want the Hulk from
Yeah,
2012.
I'm so tired of Smart Hulk.
No, I want 2012 Hulk. Go look him up. Watch Avengers. That's the Hulk that I love.
All right, Lily, what do you think about this trailer?
You know what? I'm actually gonna be sort of kind of nice a little bit. Since I just complained about Gladiator 2, at least this movie is setting the tone with the music that they chose over it.
Okay.
It makes you like, I personally am done with the MCU. I haven't seen any of the MCU movies with the exception of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I just wanted to tie up that trilogy because they all kind of went together. But after Endgame, I haven't seen anything else. It's been a letdown after a letdown. Oh wait, no, I'm a liar. I actually did see the Doctor Strange movie because it was directed by Sam Raimi, like some
Oh,
of it.
good God.
So the only part I liked about it was like zombie Doctor Strange because I'm pretty sure that was Sam Raimi.
Yeah. The zombie elements were kind of cool because you
Yeah,
knew
that was super cool. But
You
other
know
than
that
that,
everyone
yeah.
dies. Everyone
Yeah.
dies.
Other than
Sam
that,
Raimi.
I have no interest in any of the MCU movies. So this doesn't interest me. But at least the music, they're setting the tone. You're like, okay, what is this going to be about? It honestly looks much better than a lot of the other movies they've been making.
It does.
I personally wish they had just kept Anthony Mackie as Falcon. There was nothing wrong with him being Falcon. I think that they needed to elevate his character that way. They should have made the Falcon movie, and he should have just been his own character and just elevated that character. It was time. I like him as an actor. I like him as Falcon. I don't. I don't like the direction that they went in. I had seen in a lot of the comic books that Bucky was actually the one that inherited the shield.
Yep. He did.
And they should have done that. I believe that anyone that should have gotten it from Captain America himself should be his best friend. Someone who actually was his best friend from before he was even Captain America and knew him for a very long time. And I think that he could have done justice to it, especially with everything that he's gone through. And that's how the story should have gone. And they should have just kept Falcon too. There was nothing wrong with releasing a Falcon movie and then continuing Captain America with Bucky.
I agree with you, Lily. I was more a fan of, well, let me rephrase. I've never been a big fan of anybody else having the mantle of Captain America other than Steve Rogers. However, that being the case, both Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes have had the mantle at some point. And I always preferred Bucky Barnes' run because I'm like you. He was his best friend for so long. He was his sidekick during World War II. And with all the things that happened with him as the Winter Soldier, to take that next step to have the mantle of Captain America, to me, it seemed like a natural progression. Plus, he's also got the secret serum. He's got the powers of Captain America. He's got the strength, the speed, all of that, where Sam Wilson, he has to use other abilities in order to do that. And I think that it doesn't work very well when you're seeing him throwing the shield around like he's Captain America, where I don't think we should see Sam Wilson throwing that thing around. If anything, he should use it for defensive, attacks, and maybe in some hand-to-hand combat, popping people in the face with it and stuff like that. I don't think him throwing it around. I just don't see how he could have the control of that shield the same way that Steve Rogers did. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. Looking at the trailer, I do think that it does look better than a lot of what we've had. But with all of the reshoots that they've done with this and everything, my expectations are very low with this. I just don't see anything here that's going to drive people out to the cinema. Just don't see it.
No, it's just no.
I mean, it's not going to drive Mountain Drones. People will see it, but it's not going to do killer.
And then there's controversy surrounding the movie, and I don't know if you heard about this, Lily, but I sent an article to Josh and Derek to kind of get their opinion on it. There is a character in there who is of Israeli descent who was, I forget the name of the character, but she's of Israeli descent and she works for the Israeli government in the comic book, but they changed her background because of backlash, because of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict right now. And to me, that almost seems like it's a slap in the face to the character and to those that loved the character the way she was.
Yeah, I actually saw that on Twitter earlier today.
And I know Derek and we talked about it. Derek was of the thought that the character should have just been left alone.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I just Googled it, and I'm not sure if more articles are going to come out about this, but there's some article that is claiming that they are going to leave her background as Israeli.
Yeah, that's my understanding. She's still going to be Israeli, but they changed the fact that she's not working for the Israeli government. Instead, they've made her a Black Widow, is what I'm hearing.
Oh my gosh. So then why even have her in the movie at all if you're just going to change everything about who the character is?
That was why we were talking about that.
That's so I mean it's on brand for Marvel and Disney and all of them to do things like that, where they give you a character in name only and then they strip them of everything that makes them that character.
Yep.
Just because they don't want to hurt feelings.
Yeah. And I mean, oh my gosh. Like if your feelings are gonna be hurt because there's somebody in this movie that is of a background that you don't agree with, then just don't go watch it. Just like we've been told. Don't go watch it.
Yeah. And the thing is,
or be a grown up.
Yeah.
Like handle yourself. All right, you'll be fine. All right, just relax.
And I kind of agree with you, Lily, that if you were afraid of the backlash, then you should have just removed the character to begin with, because I understand that the Israeli Palestinian conflict didn't start when they first started filming the movie, but they've refilmed it so many times at this point. Yeah. They could have just taken her out, because they just barely finished reshoots on this thing. And the conflict started back in October. So if you wanted to avoid controversy, just remove her at that point and get another, bring in another character. Keep the actress and just have her play a different character.
Yep.
So
yeah, I don't know. That's really dumb.
Yeah. So that kind of leads us into our next topic, because we know Deadpool and Wolverine comes out here in about a week and a half now, or a week from now.
Like a week and 2 days.
Yeah, so that kind of leads to the future of the MCU. We kind of asked this about Star Wars. Where does Marvel go from here? Because I think we're all in agreement that Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be a hit. This is probably going to make well over $1 billion. I don't see how this doesn't, unless it just sucks and people by word of mouth, it just doesn't get there. But I don't see that happening. So where do they go from here? Because you've got Deadpool and Wolverine coming out. Then we know Agatha comes out after that. You've got Captain America after that. But we do know you still got the Fantastic Four coming up. An article came out today saying that the Russos are in talks to come back and direct Avengers 5 and 6. Good. And that they are going to go away from the Kang story. So where does Marvel go from here? Josh, why don't you start us? Where does Marvel go?
I mean, honestly, I agree with you on the Deadpool Wolverine, Bob. It's going to do well. It's going to do well. I really don't know if they're going to try to delve into the MCU at all, or the multiverse, and try to, change things up. I mean, you and I have discussed this a lot. I mean, I want to see Dr. Doom as the villain and see the Avengers, fighting him, and him having being a legitimate threat for them. Personally, I think, and I don't know, Lily, Derek, and Bobby know about this, I still love Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. I really think they need to come back, especially since Marvel has failed to really build up their new characters.
I see Derek shaking his head.
I know.
Don't worry, we'll get to you in a moment, Derek.
I still think they could do. There's rumors that I'm hoping that'll come true, is that they do a limited series with Chris Evans returning all the stones from Endgame. And maybe we finally see him fighting the Red Skull, on Mortis, which would be very cool. So I don't know. I don't think Marvel is in a worse shape than Star Wars right now, but they're not great. I mean, I have not watched. God, what was the last show I tried? What was it? Moon Knight. Moon Knight, and I couldn't finish it. It was not good. I did see. Was it Secret Wars?
No,
Secret
Invasion.
Yeah,
Secret Invasion. I liked the first couple of episodes, and then he called me and he made me see the lights. Put me in the dark room and turn the light on and say, "You see?" And yeah, that was horrible. So yeah, really. Not since, I would say, the last one I really enjoyed was Hawkeye. So again, I'm hoping that we could get Dr. Doom, and maybe that'll work. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here. Derek, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to let Robert finish his aneurysm first, because if he needs to get that out of the way, then we should.
Yeah, it was as soon as he mentioned Secret Invasion, because good Lord. That thing is horrible. I mean, that's like the Acolyte of Marvel, but not quite as bad as the Acolyte, but it's pretty bad. I mean, the whole thing ends with Amelia Clark's character becoming the most powerful character in the whole MCU. Literally, I kid you not, Derek. She gets the power of every single character.
Oh my god!
And she's walking around. She's got she morphs into all these different powers, and her arm turns into Drax's arm from.
Oh my gosh! I'm so happy.
Galaxy. I mean, it's just it's ridiculous. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. But yeah, go ahead, Derek.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, fate is not without a sense of irony here, because this is exactly what I was saying about Star Wars. It's the same thing. You have to do it in Marvel. It's the exact same thing. Stop. Figure out what your next strategy is. Really sit down and get a timeline. Figure out where you want to go. Make the plan of, not as much saturation. We're only doing, 2 movies, whatever it is. Tone it down. Figure out where your strategy is. Go from there. Now, the beauty of Marvel has a leg up on this where Star Wars doesn't. We all know what Star Wars is, right? That's science fiction galore. That's what it is. Marvel has the opportunity now to start playing around with different genres of film. For example, if we do another Spider-Man movie, that's going to be family friendly. It's going to be something the kids can go to. We all know that tale. But if they do something along the lines of a Punisher, I want that to be a psychological thriller with darkness galore that is rated R and people should be scared of.
Kind of like the Netflix show?
More than that.
Okay.
Like really, really, really gritty stuff. And there's a whole genre of films that can be dedicated to stuff like with the Punisher, maybe even like with Ghost Rider, if you really want to go there.
See, that'd be fun.
Yeah, see, and then like Daredevil Netflix, that's exactly what I'm thinking about in terms of how they could take the genres with this. That would be a lot of fun, is to see, how you can tell not only different film genres, but you could also tell different stories with streaming too, different streaming shows. You can have the funny stuff and you can have the really dark stuff too. So there's a lot of fun, a lot of options. But you do need to start fresh. 2 to 3 years, same story.
Now, let me ask you, Derek, just a personal preference here.
Yeah.
Now, are you kind of like me where you would recast some of these characters, or are you more along the lines of Josh where he wants to bring them back while they're all 80 years old, and playing the
No.
Oh, they're not 80 years old. What are you talking about? What are
you bring those characters back for cameos only. The right cameo and the right appearance with the right story. We talked about this before. Yes, Josh. God,
I disagree with you, Derek.
Well, that's because you have a picture of Robert Downey Jr. that you sleep next to at night on your pillow, okay?
I told you that in private.
Oh, well.
Wow.
World
Thanks for
knows
telling
now.
the world. Thanks for telling the world.
So,
wow.
Okay. So, yeah, you can introduce Dr. Doom, but again, you have to have the strategy in order to tell that full story as well. This all goes back to the timeline with story and strategy, right? That's what we're trying to get done here on the writing to match up. And Disney is unfortunately suffering the same disease as Star Wars is, right? I mean, Marvel. Well, maybe just Disney overall.
Yeah,
too.
Disney in general.
Well, no, they did Inside Out too, so they made some money. I can't.
Yeah, they did that great.
Oh, we'll get to that in a minute.
We'll get to that in a minute, but Marvel is suffering the same problem I think as Star Wars is right now, and we know what the solution is. But is it as dead as Star Wars? Well, maybe not as dead, but it's in a pretty good coma. There's vitals still.
Oh.
What do you think, Lily? Where do you think Marvel goes from here? And you said you've kind of checked out of the MCU. So what would bring you back?
At this point, probably nothing, because I was already I'm done. I mean, for me, they wrapped it up. I don't think there's going to be anyone better than having Chris Evans as Captain America and Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, and there's going to be nothing better. They can't replace them. I'm sorry. I at this point, I think I'm out completely.
You know what, Lily? It's funny that you say that, because I told Josh back when Endgame came out, as soon as it was done, I said, you know what? If I never see another Marvel movie, or a TV show or anything, I'm fine.
You'd be
I feel
good.
like I've seen the whole thing
Very
because
true.
it was so. The way they told that story over 10 years was awesome. I mean, we're not going to see anything like that again. I mean,
No.
they did it over what? It was over 23, 24 movies that they
Yeah.
told that story
Starting
over
in
10
08.
years. I mean, that's awesome, though, what they were able to do. So I get what you're saying. I told Josh the same thing. Like, if I don't see another movie, I'm fine.
Yeah, it's 10
Yeah.
years. That's a run that's not going to be challenged again. You're right. That's
No.
lightning in a bottle.
And I don't see, Bob, you've mentioned this on numerous occasions that maybe you reboot the whole thing. But like, what are you going to do? That, I mean, this was awesome.
That's why
What do you do?
I kind of agree with Derek. You take a break and then you come back, and I think you go with more solo movies again. I don't think you do a shared universe again. I think you turn around and do solo movies. Focus on some of these other characters. You know, let's see this Blade movie that they've been trying to get off the ground for a while. Let's see Ghost Rider. Let's see the Punisher. Let's see some of this stuff, and let's get gritty with it. Let's have
Marvel
let's
Dark.
explore.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's
That's cool.
explore, but let's not do another She-Hulk type.
No,
thing,
she's
you know.
done. They canceled her. I'm
Thank
very
God.
happy. They
Because
canceled her.
they tried to do, what was it? Something like Ally McBeal and with
Oh.
superheroes, and it
Not
just
She-Hulk. And Bob did not watch that, but the minute they literally did you see it, Derek?
I saw I think 3 episodes or something like that. I don't even think I've started at number 1. I think I jumped
sorry,
in
Derek.
4.
Like
Yeah,
they
it's
had
all right.
her
I
say
lived.
Banner. They had her say Bruce Banner, and
Mhm.
that's how she becomes She-Hulk. And that's not the truth.
No.
Lily. Josh told me what happened in the first episode, and I was like, okay, I can't watch this.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Oh my gosh. I thought about watching that for a second because I was like, I need to see how bad this is. And I just saw everybody's reaction. I was like, you know what? I value my sanity. So I'm not
Well,
even
Time is valuable.
Well,
Invest wisely.
exactly.
I went crazy in the finale because the Hulk is in the finale, and he goes, they're talking about the Abomination, and he goes, oh yeah, we're friends now. What? It's his arch enemy.
It's
We're
not.
friends now. That was it. That was it.
He calls me up during that finale, and he's like, "What is this? What are they doing?" Because he is a big Hulk fan, like he said. He loves the Hulk, and they just dumped all over the Hulk.
They did. They did. I don't know. You just need to figure out. I kind of like Derek's idea about like Daredevil, Ghost Rider, maybe doing something in that to see if that would bring people back. But I just don't know. I mean, we mentioned this last week, how I said I still want to see Iron Man versus the Mandarin, because Lily, Derek, I think we told you this last time. Derek, when Iron Man first arrived, Bobby and I were a little like, we're not exactly sure. And Derek right away is like, oh, dude, Mandarin versus Iron Man.
Mhm.
And we haven't gotten that really. I know they said Mandarin was in Shang-Chi and all that.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, they
No,
saved him for Shang-Chi. What?
Maybe-
Even though he's the arch nemesis of Iron Man.
Maybe
Yeah.
if you take, in between one of the movies and do an Iron Man and Mandarin movie, like maybe it's about we had all this timeline that led to Endgame, right? You can fill in the space in between that time, though. There's
Well,
no reason not to, and bring out. I mean, we talk about this in DC, Derek, all the time. The Rogue Gallery.
yeah, but then that makes the whole point of starting fresh null and void. You're just going to go back to thinking about what happened prior. And I think
It's all about bringing people back to Marvel, though.
well, yeah, but to bring them back, you have to miss it first, right?
I agree with you, Derek.
Yeah, I mean, how can I miss you if you don't go away?
What brought people, it was interesting because you had the first Iron Man. I love the first Iron Man.
Yeah, it's great.
What they did this, I remember Bobby and I talking about this, Lily.
Mhm.
Got Robert Downey Jr., who was the perfect person for this. somebody who dealt with alcoholism and jail time. And they got him in to play Tony Stark. And it was like, oh, this is great. If you have, let's take Derek, for example, and, Ghost Rider or Daredevil. You need to find someone who plays the part perfectly that we fall in love with. That's how that'll work.
Well, that gets into the restructuring. You got to think about casting. Casting has to be a big part of that too.
I actually, speaking of Ghost Rider, I actually enjoyed Nicolas Cage in the role. I
did too.
Yeah, I just thought the movies weren't that great. But
first one was okay.
That was during a time where Ben Affleck took a shot at Daredevil too. I mean, it's just
exactly.
It wasn't exactly a fine time for Marvel films.
Very true.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about with the MCU, or are we going to get on to our last topic of the night?
I think we've beaten ourselves up enough.
All right. So we want to go ahead and get into our last topic. And like I said, we got Deadpool and Wolverine coming out. And so it made me kind of wanted to kind of look at 2024. And you had recommended this topic here, Derek, to kind of look at the 2024 summer movies. And so I decided to go ahead and expand it to 2024 as a whole. Sure. So up to this point, let's start it with this. Are there any standouts or any movies that you really enjoyed? I mean, just from a box office standpoint, the one that stood out seems to be Inside Out 2, that it just is cleaning house. And I was looking at the box office numbers, like 3 out of the top 5 are animated films. So, but personally, any standouts or anything that you just noticed? We'll start with you, Lily.
For like any movie?
Yeah, any movie. What stood out to you? Or what were personal favorites? What did you see as highlights of 2024 as far as movies go?
So far, well, for me, so far, it has to be Dune 2. I have to give it to Dune 2.
All right.
What else have I really enjoyed this year? The Bike Riders is another one that was really good. What else have I seen? You know what? This one's a little weird and controversial for me because I actually didn't like it, but I'm still kind of telling people that you kind of should see it, is Longlegs. I actually did go see that.
Okay.
And it gives you a really cool feeling, like a really creepy feeling. If you like the adrenaline rush of horror movies, this one's a really good one for that.
Oh, nice.
It was shot very beautifully. They did a lot of really original things that you haven't seen in horror before. So that one is actually worth going to watch at the movie theater. It's not going to be the best thing ever. I know they've been comparing it to Silence of the Lambs. This doesn't even come close to Silence of the Lambs.
I don't see how they could.
No, that's very difficult to come close to Silence of the Lambs. What else? Well, The Fall Guy. No one went to go watch that movie. I love The Fall Guy.
Hey, I went to see it.
You and other people went to watch that movie. And I think that's pretty much it. Like, there hasn't been a lot that's really impressed me this year, and that's kind of sad. Challengers. I really, really enjoyed Challengers too. I remember after I finished watching it, I actually did text Bob and I was like, oh my God, this movie's actually really good. Like, you need to watch it. Everybody thought it was going to be super terrible. And I actually put it on as a background noise. And then me, 15 minutes later, super invested in the story of all these terrible but talented people.
It's funny, Lily, when you messaged me on that, I was like, Challengers? Really? I was like, this was good? Because I was basing it solely based on the marketing, but you told me it's completely different from what it's marketed.
Who was in it?
Zendaya, and then who are the other two actors?
Oh, the tennis movie.
Yeah, the tennis movie. Mm-hmm.
Really, it was good, huh?
It's very good. Yes, and you pull me in if you start telling me a really good story and then structure that story in a really cool way. So you know how in tennis they separate all their the matches between they basically tell you the story going along with the matches that are happening in the movie. So as they start to get more dramatic and challenging each other more. You start to see how these three characters know each other and what they have to do with their lives. And none of them are particularly good people. You kind of get to see this throughout the whole movie. And somehow you're super invested in their story and what happens. And then I never knew that I would get invested in like watching tennis, because I'm like I'll watch it. It's not, the most craziest sport or whatever, but this movie did a really good job with it. And there's a really cool shot in this movie actually where the camera is the point of view of the tennis ball being hit back and forth.
Huh.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. That was actually really cool. So yeah, that's a movie that I was impressed by that I thought was going to be super terrible.
All right.
But Dune 2,
I just remember my expression when you told me that. So, but I
Yeah.
still need to check it out because the way you've described it, I was like, this sounds completely different than
I'm
what I
down
expected.
now. Yeah.
but yeah, so far my number one is still Dune 2. I don't think there's anything that's topped it so far. But movies I'm looking forward to, for sure, Nosferatu. I'm
Okay.
hoping that's really good.
Which one?
Nosferatu.
Okay. Yeah.
That's coming out late December. And then Beetlejuice 2.
Yeah.
What else? I actually do want to see Gladiator 2. I want to see what they do with it. I'm going to give it a chance. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to for the next couple of months too. I really want to see Twisters 2. I've heard that it's actually a good sequel.
Yeah, I'll be going on Friday, so I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to
I
that.
think I'm going to go next this upcoming weekend too.
You know what? What already interests me about that is I saw today where they asked the director why he did not talk about global warming in Twisters. He said, because I didn't want to make a film that felt preachy, and I don't think that that's what cinema should be. And already right there, I'm like, okay, you got me interested in this.
Yeah.
Just off of that, you got me interested in this because I know I'm not going to go get preached to. I mean, it sounds like it's just going to be a fun sequel.
It's a crazy movie about Twisters. Just let us have fun.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. All right, Derek, what about you? What has stood out to you, and what are you looking forward to?
Sure. Well, I'm not even a fan of these types of movies, but I finally got a chance to watch a fair amount of this, and I gotta admit I was hooked. But have you guys heard of that vampire movie, Abigail?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
It was
heard about
actually
it.
way better than I thought it was gonna be.
Was it?
Yeah. I had no expectations going into it. I'm like, oh God, what is this? And it ended up being a lot more fun than I thought. So you know what? Props on that level. That's pretty
All right.
good. That's well done.
Abigail, okay.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. I recently have started Beverly Hills Cop XLF, which I'm sure I'll love because
Oh, I need to watch that.
I can't help it. I love Eddie Murphy. I love Will Foley. Can't help it. I'm probably gonna love that one because it's nostalgia, and I'm a sucker for that. Another one that stood out. Lily has reminded me that I still have to see Dune 2. If you turn on Max, they make it a point to still show that that's out. So I should probably watch it.
Derek. Oh my God.
Yes, you should.
I know. Look, like I said, Lily, time is precious. I don't have a lot of it, and sometimes I don't spend it wisely. Okay.
That movie, I think, is worth it though. That
Okay. I'll
definitely, for sure.
I'll get on that. I will
Just
get.
from a
went to-
visual standpoint.
Yeah,
even.
I went to see it a crazy amount of times because I
it's-
liked it so much.
It's pretty nuts how those remakes have done as good as they have. I think people were kind of on a negative, saying, "Oh God, they're going to remake this. What's that going to look like?" And it turns out they've done a pretty good job. So kudos to them for that. That's great. And I guess the other one I'm looking forward to is Beetlejuice. The wife and I have a date night. She's already called it. So thank you, honey. We'll. She'll probably pick the restaurant, but I'm glad you're going to see a movie I want to see too. It's always a good thing. I don't know what the holiday movies are. I thought Garfield was fun for a dad-son movie.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Oh,
we're
I
gonna,
like that.
yeah, we'll get into the kids' movies. I didn't want to steal the thunder there, Bob, but that was fun for what it was. And I think that's most of the stuff I didn't get a chance to see the Bike Riders. I really wanted to see that.
It's worth seeing, Derek.
Yeah, and
that's a good one too.
I want to see Fly Me to the Moon too.
Oh, I saw that. That was fun. It was much better than I expected it to be.
Oh,
I was
okay.
not expecting it to be really a whole lot, and I enjoyed it for what it was. It's not going to be like the greatest romantic comedy ever or anything like that, but I thought it was fun for what it was. I thought it was fun.
Cool. That makes me excited because that just sounds like it's a good time. So I'm down for that. I think those are the ones that immediately come to mind. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that skipped this summer. Well, the Planet of the Apes one, I probably will eventually see that because those, like I've said before millions of times on this show, those films are good. They are very, very good. They are well done, and some people are obsessed with them. So I'll probably go and catch that most recent one too. But I think that's it for me. What about is Bob the only one left? Or do we
know. Go ahead, Josh.
Josh, yeah.
So being a dad like we are, and that little girl who came in and said hi, it's really been a year of animated movies for us. We saw If, which we really liked. Did you ever go see that, Derek?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I thought it was very good. I know Bobby saw it. Garfield was great. We love Garfield. I thought, what was the last movie we saw that? Despicable Me was very good. In terms of really movies I'm looking forward to, Deadpool, I've been waiting. Beetlejuice 2, I think the wife and I will go to that. And one that I'm very surprised you guys didn't mention, Joker 2.
Oh, yeah.
I am excited about it. I really like the first one. I'm curious where Phillips goes with it, with having Lady Gaga in there with, Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too.
Yeah, it should be very interesting and crazy. No idea where it's going.
Yeah, it could be interesting.
Yeah, look to the next single, folks. Don't think that's not coming out.
Which one?
Whatever song she's gonna make off that.
Oh yeah.
The next single
for sure.
What else am I looking for? I'm trying for some reason. Actually, believe it or not, you'll laugh, but having a kid, Moana 2 comes out Thanksgiving weekend. I'm very excited about that. I can't for the life of me think, Bob, what's coming out Christmas?
I think you got Mufasa.
What is it?
Which one, Lily?
Nosferatu is actually coming out on Christmas.
Oh.
There's nothing spells Yuletime cheer like old school vampire.
Yeah.
I think you've got Mufasa coming out at that time. But
why?
Yeah,
that's right. But there was something. Unless that's it. Nothing big this year. I mean, next year's big.
I'm sure there's going to be a couple here and there, but and we'll think of it. But it's just been a weird year for movies.
Very weird. But yeah, and again, I was like, I kind of wished it both come out like Memorial Day or May 3rd, but it's fine. It's a nice little, kind of breaks the summer up a little bit. God, if the rumors are true and you have Wolverine fighting the Hulk in that, I'm going to go crazy. I would love to see that.
What if it's the Red Hulk?
I will leave the theater
without the mustache.
I'm leaving. I'm done.
No, knowing Josh's luck, it'll be Smart Hulk.
Probably will. It'll be, yeah. Oh God.
The nice Hulk.
Oh God. Why do you guys hate me? What do you just talk about hate? I know I'm tired. What did I do? What did I do? Don't you want me to be happy?
How much time do you have?
Wow. Wow. All right. So that's what I think.
Okay.
That's what I think. Bob, what do you think?
All right. Standouts for me. I agree with Lily. Dune 2. It's probably the biggest standout for me.
Hmm.
From a visual standpoint, I thought it was incredible. I thought it was a pretty good story for the most part. There's a couple things here and there, and Lily and I have actually talked about some of that where she and I kind of agree on a couple of character choices that we don't necessarily agree with from the changes from the book. Even though I've never really read the book, I'm aware of what the character was supposed to be, and I'm like, oh, that change doesn't really make sense. But for the most part, I think Dune 2 was really, really good. I liked the bike riders. The Planet of the Apes, Derek, you mentioned that. I actually enjoyed that. Fly Me to the Moon, I enjoyed. A couple of standouts from the negative side I want to mention. Madam Web. Oh, God.
Oh my God.
I forgot about that one.
You know, I still can't. And the reason I got to mention that, this is seen in there, Derek, I kid you not, where
The CPR.
she's got the three girls that she saves from this spider character or whatever, and she's got them in this hotel room, and she is a paramedic in the movie, and she tried to teach them CPR, and she flat out tells them, you know, cardiac arrest really isn't a big deal, so I'm going to teach you CPR. And she used those words that it's not a big deal, and she's like, you just got to do this, and you see her doing the CPR. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And the movie is just ridiculous from start to finish. So it is a standout because it's not like, you know, messaging bad. It's just so bad. Like, this is Sony's version of The Acolyte. And
That's terrible.
you know what? No, I take that back. That's an insult because I actually think Madam Web is more entertaining than the Acolyte. So Madam Web was pretty bad. Also, Rebel Moon Part 2 was pretty bad, and with the director's cuts of these supposed to come out, I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna check them out, and hopefully they're better than the ones they released, but I doubt that will be the case. So those are a couple standouts on the negative side. As far as movies that or you know what, one other standout, I really liked Sound of Hope. This was a movie that I really related to. So this is a faith-based film that it's by the same studio that did Sound of Freedom last year. And so at first you would think Sound of Hope, that this is somehow like a sequel to that, but it's not. It carries the kind of the same theme as far as children in need, but it focuses on kids being adopted out of the foster system. And it's this true story about this community that adopted that 22 families adopted 77 of the most hard to place kids out of the foster system. And what I liked about it is that it didn't just focus on, or it didn't give like a happy picture of that the adoption happens and everybody's just so happy and everything just works out perfect after that. In fact, a lot of the adoptions and everything happened earlier in the film, and you see the families trying to adjust to the problems that have been brought in as far as the kids with the baggage that they have in their lives, and the parents, you know, they have their own issues and stuff. And so they're having to adjust. And so there's this adjustment period. And as somebody who's adopted kids out of the foster system, this was a film I really related to, and it hit me very differently than a lot of films do. So that was a standout for me. As far as movies that I'm looking forward to, obviously Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm going to see Twisters. There was a couple that you already mentioned, Joker 2, Josh. So there was a couple others that looked kind of interesting to me. There's this movie coming out by M. Night Shyamalan called Trap that looks like it might be kind of interesting. The problem is Shyamalan, he's very hit or miss with his movies. So I'm a little weary on that, but I kind of like this idea that it's from the serial killer's perspective. So it looks like it could be kind of interesting. And then this other one, did you guys ever see the film Wonder?
No.
It's it was with Owen Wilson and Julia Roberts, and they had this kid that had all these like facial scars and whatnot. He would get made fun of in his class and whatnot. Well, they're doing a sequel to that, but it's about one of the kids that bullied him, and he's now talking with his grandmother, and she tells a story that happened to her back during World War II, and she comes from Jewish descent, and she was alive during Nazi Germany time. So
I saw.
it's called White Bird, I think, and that one looked kind of interesting to me. So those are a couple of films that I'm looking forward to, but probably the one I'm looking forward to the most, of course, would be Deadpool and Wolverine.
Cool.
So
I have an honorable mention. I just remembered Wonka.
What's that?
Did you guys see Wonka?
Didn't Wonka come out last year?
Yeah, I think Wonka was last year.
Was it?
Mhm.
Yeah,
This year.
Christmas.
That was
Goodness,
a good
Josh, just because you waited until this year to see it, that doesn't make it this year's movie.
No, it's
No.
not in the theater.
Yeah, but no, I think
Disqualified.
it came out Christmas of last year, didn't it?
Yeah,
did.
it did.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
It was a good movie, though. I will give it that. I really enjoyed
Thank you,
it.
Lily. See how nice Lily is?
You know,
guys
I haven't
should
seen it
Lily.
yet, but Josh, both you and Lily have mentioned to me how fun that movie
Yeah.
was. So
I-
I do want to check it out.
I saw it too, and it is very fun. If you got
Yeah.
kids, it's definitely one that you can.
Yes. And you know what? I feel like because a lot of people kind of pick between all of the Wonkas, like who's their favorite. And I feel like there's a Wonka for everyone. You have like the super unhinged original Wonka that actually I think wants to murder all the kids.
Oh my god.
And
You
then
know, I
you
think-
have Johnny Depp, who's just like bananas.
Yeah,
And then you
who's a
have this
weirdo?
Wonka. This Wonka is just so like adorable and caring and such a good person.
You know, it's funny because I think each of us are like one of the different Wonkas. You know, like
Oh
at
my
at one point we're the nice one, you know, but then we watch the Acolyte, and we turn into the unhinged Wonka. Like, oh, stop! No, come back! You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
Oh,
You got to go forward to go backward.
The show is giving
you
me
know, like
great-
we sit there and we watch everybody turn around on X. They're all fighting over the Acolyte. And we're like, the suspense is terrible. I hope it'll last. You know? So yeah, we all turned into Gene Wilder at that point.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like if your kids are in trouble, you get mad because your chocolate is damaged.
chocolate. You eating all this chocolate.
Somehow your
You know what?
chocolate got in the line of fire.
You know, people hate, or a lot of people hated the Tim Burton version with Johnny Depp. I didn't hate it. I actually, there were elements of it that I liked. Now it's not as good of a version as the original film, but there were elements of it that I liked. I did like Christopher Lee's performance in it as the dentist.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
You know, and he's sitting there. You got poor Willy Wonka with all these braces on, like he's got this apparatus, like it came out of Saw or something like that. You know, on his face.
Oh my god, so
And
bad.
you've got Christopher Lee there, lollipops, have a piece on a stick.
Oh my gosh.
And-
that
and then
was so
you,
iconic.
you know, he's like, you got all this chocolate, you know, and poor Willy Wonka's like, I could try a piece and see if it's okay. Well, why take the chance? And he throws it all into the
Oh god.
Let's see what the damage is this year, shall we?
You know what's funny, Derek, is that Josh's favorite part of that movie is when he meets his dad later in the future and he's examining his teeth. I haven't seen bicuspids like these.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I liked Christopher Lee in that movie, or how they have that little twist towards the end where the kid's like, "Oh, so I can bring my whole family along? Of course you can't.
No,
The
I will.
chocolate beer needs to be free.
why
with
I
food."
I think I'm that one.
Yeah,
That is funny.
My
you
gosh.
just smile at people and then really deliver back.
Yes. Like, can we be friends? Of course not.
not a chance. I will give Veruca Salt the nod in that one too. She's pretty. Daddy, I want a smell.
Oh my God.
Rotten. Oh,
Oh, I like that little scene where you see Baruka and Violet. They're like, let's be friends. Let's be best friends. And they're ready to kill each other.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I think I only saw that newer one once or twice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not bad. It's
It's not bad. I don't think it's as bad as what everybody says that it is, but it's not the original film by any means.
No.
It's a Tim Burton take on Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
You'll
That's
understand
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That's why I like to appreciate them for their own thing separately.
Yeah, it's exactly
You
what it
know,
is.
Derek, we've mentioned before when it comes to like Zack Snyder, that Zack Snyder's got a very specific flair. And if you don't like that flair, you're not going to really like a whole lot of his movies. And Tim Burton is very much the same type of way, that if you don't like Tim Burton's flair in some of his other films, it's doubtful that you're going to like others. Now, there might be a few here and there that you do like, but if you don't like the flair, the chances are you're not going to like the majority of them.
You should know what you're walking into when you go to a Tim Burton movie.
Absolutely.
Edward
You're going to see Johnny Depp. You're going to see Helena Bonham Carter. You're going to
You're gonna see some weird stuff, but it'll be fun.
You're gonna see Nicolas Cage as Superman.
Move on.
And never. I still don't get that.
Oh gosh. All right. Anything else that you all want to talk about on this topic before we
Yeah,
end?
the Acolyte. Yeah, let's talk about the Acolyte a little bit.
No, we're done with that. Stop it. It's not funny anymore.
Yeah, we're done with the Acolyte. We're
But
absolutely
shout
done
out
with
though around the animated films, because just one more note on that. It is kind of crazy that the animated films. I have a theory. There's the movie experience there's a movie experience pre-COVID and post-COVID. We've seen what that is. The animated films have been the one genre that has managed to stay consistent the whole time, if not get better. They are the ones right now that can still hit it out of the park. And it's great because usually with those films, it's not just, mom and dad going, you're bringing the kids. So there's people going to the theater. And generally now it's fun for the whole family. And I mean that literally. Like the parents can enjoy it too, as much as the kids do.
Well, you look at last year, there was only 2 films that hit over $1 billion. And one of those was Super Mario Brothers. And then this year, there's only been one that has hit it. And that was Inside Out 2.
There you go.
Just over $1 billion.
What was that, Josh?
Inside Out went over $1 billion.
Yeah, it's at 1.3 or something last I saw.
Wow, that's amazing.
So yeah, it's doing really well. And then Despicable Me, I mean, obviously it's not doing what some of the other films in the franchise have done, but it's still in the top 5. It'll probably finish behind Dune 2, but it'll probably be number 3 up until Deadpool and Wolverine releases. So.
By the way, Lily, I was just kind of looking up about Darth Plagueis, the book.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize James Luceno had written that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to kind of read the plot line. I'll read the rest of it, but it looks interesting.
Yeah, I've already read a couple of books, and I think that one's still my favorite. I'm waiting for something to kind of knock it out of its place.
Right.
But it's because I really enjoy villains. I really like the just what motivates them and makes them these awful people. Like I considered going into psychology for a while. Actually, I wasn't gonna do family nurse practitioner. I was gonna do psychology nurse practitioner. Because it just fascinates me that some people are really just crazy. So that's why a lot of villains, I'm fascinated by the villains. I really love the heroes because yes, they're inspirational. That's who we should strive to be. But I really like to know about the villains and what drives them, what motivates them, and how they end up being the people that they are.
Right.
Villains are more interesting. They're more interesting.
They get better clothes sometimes too. They get better costumes.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one, like I said, this one definitely tells you the story of Darth Plagueis, and you see his motivation. You see like how driven he is by this one thing that he's trying to accomplish. And that's why I said that it's admirable how a lot of these people go about getting the things that they want. And it's crazy all the things that they're willing to do to get it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's interesting. So I think you'll enjoy it.
I'm curious, like what the Jedi did, because forget that junk we saw last night, but really how they maintained, like, what was their job during, this time if the Sith, they didn't know about the Sith. Notice I'm going back to Legends.
Well,
and
they were
stuff.
peacekeepers in the galaxy.
Yeah, so they just went, and if someone caused trouble, they took care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was that's why I like it, and I said that I would turn it into a trilogy, because this plan that Palpatine finally put into action, this was like years and years in the making, and this was something that was a motivation that was passed on from master to master with the Sith.
Right.
So that's why I said, like, that's super cool that and they know that eventually their apprentice is gonna be more powerful than they are, and they're eventually gonna kill them. Like, they know this, and they still put themselves in this position. But that's what they want, because they want to gain more knowledge and more power. That's what they want to keep going through the, I guess, generations of Sith, and it's really crazy.
Yeah, it's almost as if they kind of hope for that. I mean, you look at Sidious in his fight with Yoda. He says, "You will not stop me. That Darth Vader will become more powerful than either of us." That's what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted him to become more powerful, and when he doesn't, it's a disappointment to him.
Yeah.
Because for them that is a disappointment. I mean, look what he did to Dooku. He found somebody who was better, and he was like, "Bye, like, I'm gonna replace you."
We'll see ya.
Because to them that is a disappointment. Like, oh wow, you couldn't kill me. Like, wow, you're such a disappointment. I thought I taught you better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Until you get to the Rise of Skywalker, at one point they should strike me down and just kill. Ooh, a Force dyad. Now I can be.
And then I actually did read Revan as well, and now I see why so many people actually like him too. That was a very cool book. That one you get to see a little bit more about the Mandalorians and the Jedi, and he has such a cool story too, because you actually get to see like a Jedi who fell to the dark side and came back to the light side.
Is that the one who they said Keanu Reeves should play?
Yes. I agree. I think Keanu would do a great job, but like, not in this state of Disney, but they should do it fast. Keanu's not getting any younger, but I think
do that. Get on it, man. Come on.
Yeah, so that one's a good book too. I like that. That one's a little bit more of like a character study thing too, because he kind of goes through all of the things that he did while he was on the dark side, and he has to come to terms with everything that happened during the Mandalorian War and how they defeated them and stuff like that. So it kind of gets into their characters too, that war happens, but it affects so many things that we're not even like aware of. And then you get the Sith in this one who are absolutely just crazy too. Like, just it's an awesome book. I highly recommend that one too.
Can I ask one final nerd question?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Lily will answer it, or Bob. What? Because I've noticed when I'm watching all these shows, all the Sith, even Kylo Ren, are wearing gloves now. Can these Sith use Sith lightning with gloves on?
Oh, yeah.
Because I always wondered that. Like, I was like, because Palpatine, no gloves, uses it. Dooku, no gloves, uses it. But then lately you see everyone else has gloves.
Have we learned nothing from COVID? Germs, Josh.
That's exactly what it is.
I remember reading one time that Vader could not because of having the artificial limbs.
Yeah.
And also would probably fry him. But
yeah, I don't think the lightning works really well with all the gear he has.
No, that would shut him down.
No, but like other ones, I'm just curious if you guys knew that.
Well, I mean, if you want to take a look at how bad their characters are, that's probably why they never learned how to do the Force lightning. So why not wear gloves?
I know, right?
Oh gosh.
All right.
So, all right. I think we're pretty much done for the night. So we'll go ahead and do some social media. Lily, where can we find you at?
You can find me on X at 300 mirrors, and then you can find me on Instagram at 300.mirrors. But yeah, no, I'm oh my gosh, my Twitter's a mess right now. There's fires all over the place.
Is there? No, I'm
Nice.
curious.
Yes, everyone's angry.
Oh, Lord. I gotta get over that.
Yeah, everyone's angry, and then of course I can't help myself. I have to argue sometimes with these crazy people that come into the replies. And then you can also find me, of course, on Wednesdays doing Midnight Dutch Espanol. We actually do have a stream on that channel, and then Dames and Dorks every Thursday. So yeah, just I posted on X.
All right.
So anything that I'm doing, it goes there.
All right. Sounds good. Derek, where are we going to find you at this week?
Well, the person sitting in the bed next to me is almost dead in Star Wars, but I'm just old. So join me and the person on the deathbed in Star Wars over at Facebook and LinkedIn. Mm-hmm.
All right, Josh, where can we find you at?
You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. I'm on everything. I'm the family man of the Valley. I'm a realtor and a notary here in Southern California, but can also travel to Northern California if you need me. And Lily, I just saw something you posted. I hope this was a joke. This was for all the Raylos. That Acolyte is the best Star Wars ever. What? What is this? Lily, were you hired by Lucasfilm? Is this something I don't know?
That's sarcasm, Josh.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
joking, Bob.
I'm very sarcastic. So if you think that I posted something, you're like, oh my gosh, is this what she really thinks?
No,
It's
I knew
probably
you were joking. I just felt it was funny. Oh,
All
God.
right. And
All
for
right.
me, you can find me over on YouTube at Was It Good at Bob Loves Movies. Also, you can find me over on Critic List and, of course, my Facebook page. But, gentlemen and Lily, thank you all for joining us tonight. And for everybody who's watching once we post this, thank you. We hope you all have a great week. And we're looking forward to talking about some things that we actually enjoy next week. So thanks, everyone. And you guys have a great night.
Thanks, Lily. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks for coming on,
guys.
Lily.
Have a good one. Bye.